Good news is I'm on my last book for this video. Bad news is it's not this one. Y'all know I have the memory of a pea. It doesn't even make sense of why she even included that. I feel like I'm saying a whole load of nothing. My voice is kind of quivering right now because I want to cry. Oh my gosh. The font is so tiny. Oh my gosh. What the hell? Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am surprisingly pressing record. I did not think I was gonna make a video, but I barely started this book last night, so why not? I'm gonna be reading new to me authors this week. I am starting off with The Charmed List by Julie Abe. I only read one chapter last night, but I'm so glad that I reread the synopsis because it has a little magic in here. And it just came out of nowhere. So we have a girl named Ellie. She has just finished her junior year of high school and she's, going on this summer break. She is a magical being. Not like she has a little power. I don't remember exactly how they explained it, but where she lives, it's this magical town. To outsiders who don't know about magic, it's just a regular town. These stores and these restaurants and whatever that they go to, just regular stuff. But it's something about charms specifically that's magical. I'm gonna have to continue reading to tell you guys exactly what it is. So Ellie and her family have a family business in here, and there's some type of event coming up that she's going to be attending in her parents' place. That is some kind of magical convention where everyone in the town kind of goes and sells things. Her best friend, Leah, does not know about magic, but she is going with her, but she's just under the impression that she's just going to help her family and sell stuff. However, turns out that plans are gonna change because somehow her and her arch nemesis, or best friend turned arch nemesis, are gonna have to go together. His name is Jack. Now Jack, his family is also a part of this magical community as well. So we don't know as a reader just yet why they're not best friends anymore. Something's gonna happen and they're gonna have to go together. And along the way, she does have, because it's called the Charmed List, she does have like a list of maybe 12 things that she wants to fulfill and cross out before the start of her senior year. One of them being to fall in love. I think we can all assume how that's gonna go. And I forgot what the other one was. Oh, to get revenge, like the total opposite, to get revenge on Jack. Guess what? So I read chapter 1 last night. I had to go on the author's page because y'all know I'm very picky about my authors. And I had to go and see what she be posting because maybe I just need to reread it. But why did she have to include Muskrat in here? Muskrat and Zucker. I'm gonna call him Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg and Muskrat. Where was it? Mochi. So Mochi is the name of their family dog. Mochi prances down the hallway, leading me toward Elisa's tea shop. To the Mark Zuckerbergs and Elon of the world, they or their families have all stopped by. Elisa's tea shop is a Japanese cafe, yada, yada, yada. Why did we mention that? I swear to you, I read that last night. It's on page 6. I wanted to put the book down. It doesn't even make sense of why she even included that. To the blank and blank of the world, Elisa's tea shop is a Japanese cafe. But we magicals know that the matcha boba teas and steamed red bean cakes actually give joy. I'm trying to reread this, but it's not making sense as to why she included those two names. It makes me not want to continue it, but I will, because I do have the audiobook. When I come back, who knows, I might be done with it. I gotta stoop down. I honestly should have waited till I was done with the book to check back in. I actually debated on just scrapping this video or at least scrapping the clip just because I hate when I finish a book super fast and I can't like log in my thoughts. I ended up listening to majority of the audiobook today. Today is actually Tuesday. I think I first started this video on Monday. I don't know. Oh! I might have, I don't know. I literally have this much left. The whole book is 290 pages and I'm on page 259. So I'm definitely gonna finish this today, hopefully. The good Lord stay the same. It's going okay. I mean, I know I said that I was gonna do ranges for my ratings. I'm gonna say it every time. I would say this is a 3 to 4 star for sure, but I think I'm also positive on giving this just a flat out 3 star. Not that there's nothing special about it, but I think a lot of it also has to do with listening to it to pass the time in a way. I feel like sometimes when I listen to audiobooks, or at least the format, however I'm reading it, whether it be a physical book, paperback or hardback, an ebook, or an audiobook, I think depending on how the book goes, it can definitely affect my rating. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a not so good way. The only reason this might affect my rating in a negative way, meaning giving this a 3-star, rather than if I had read this physically, I maybe would have given it a 4, is the fact that I lost my train of thought. I was trying to be more specific and I lost my train of thought at the same time. Oh my gosh, and I was going somewhere with this. As I was talking, I was losing it. I will say this while I'm here. The magic is really cute, and the magic, it's not like a fantasy, you know what I mean, where they have magical powers necessarily. It's charms. That's why the title is The Charmed List. I don't know what the charm is. Are they actual charms? Like, I'm thinking of charms on a bracelet, you know what I mean, or that would go on a necklace. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know if I ever said, but I think I did, that this is a best friends turned enemies to lovers. I was nervous because they were, you know, getting along, but I didn't know if we were gonna get the answer as to why they weren't friends anymore. But I mean, I'm clearly almost done, so we have gotten there. Now it's just kind of wrapping up now. Hey. Let's pretend that y'all did not just see me finish the book. When I told y'all I had, what, 20 pages left, I want to say that was Tuesday. It's Thursday, February 27th. I had never finished it. I was so tired that day. I went to bed, and then yesterday I was just out of it, did not pick this specific book up. Today's Thursday. I'm planning on going to the library tomorrow. I went today to pick up books, but I'm planning on actually going and sitting tomorrow because I'm off early. I need to return this book. I'm almost done. So I just finally finished it. I think this book is another perfect example of wanting to give a range as a rating instead of something specific. I would say this is for sure like a 3 to 4 star. But honestly, after finishing this, I really want to give it a 4-star. Like, I still give books a specific rating on Storygraph and my Insta stories, just not for YouTube. I think it's because I let too long slip between me saying that I needed to finish it and just finishing it now. And it's like now I'm forgetting what I didn't like at the time. And what I didn't like was small. It wasn't a bad book. I could definitely see myself reading more of this author. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember much about it, and I just finished it. But I did listen to majority of the audiobook. I did say that. And I think that's why it kind of took me out of the story a little bit. Next, I did go to the library today to pick up 3 books. I ended up picking up Don't Cry For Me. I'm tired of people talking about this and I don't know what they're talking about, so I need to read it. I finally got the second book in the Martyr Maker series by Eric LaSalle. This is Laws of Wrath. I have the 3rd book. The 3rd book is due on March 7th, which I should be done by then. They gave me that one instead of giving me both at the same time, even though I had them both on hold. The next book that is most likely going to be in this video, technically, I could do both of these because I've never read this author either. Maybe I might, because who knows, I might want to talk about this book. But so far, I don't think it's going to be in a video. But now that I'm mentioning it, it'll probably be in this one. My last book is The Friend Zone Experiment that I got. I have been wanting to read this book for a very long... Oh my gosh. The font is so tiny. Not only that, but the spacing is very small. This looks like single space. Look at this. Wait. That is too small. I'm gonna try and get to it soon, but I don't know. I still have leftover library books that aren't due until the 7th, so I have time to still prioritize those. Y'all, it is time for Don't Cry For Me. I'm so excited to read this. I actually already started it. I'm only on page 20, 21. I've just started the second letter. So this is a book, I've only seen Kayla talk about it, and honestly, she can convince me to read anything. So this is about a Black father making amends with his gay son through letters. So there's no chapters. The chapter header is the date of the letter. So we start off with November 12th of 2003. I was almost 4.5. And I did peek to see how far do we go with these letters. And the last letter is dated February 10th of 2004. I was still 4. I can tell this is going to be very heavy. There is a whole synopsis. I personally haven't read it. I think what I just told you, it's told right here. That's the perfect synopsis for that. But I will say that the father is dying. That's why he's writing these letters. And of course, I can already tell you he probably has no relationship with his son. You know, so I don't know what he's done, because already there has been something mentioned, that something, I can't find it, but something about it's okay if you know, can't forgive me for what I did, or something like that. Could this be my first 5-star of the year? Who knows? Hell, he almost got me at the very beginning of this book, because we get an author's note, and it is our author who is detailing his own dad, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2013, and they also had, you know, kind of like an estranged relationship, because our author is gay as well. And I'm gonna just read this because it's towards the beginning, but his personal story. He says, you know, I knew what it meant after his dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He'd soon forget what he'd done or said to me over the years. In fact, he'd need my sympathy, perhaps my financial assistance, as his memory faded away. He goes on to say that for a long time he wanted to hash things out with his dad and talk about, you know, what he experienced as a young gay boy. You know, his dad started to lose his memory and stuff, and so that's where this idea came from. Already with the first letter, it was very interesting, because one thing that I'm having to kind of not mentally prepare myself, but kind of reprogram, is when this is taking place. So it's not like these letters are being written or were written, you know, in 2024. So like our dad in here would have been maybe an 80s born or a 70s born. It's older than that, right? So he's writing these letters 2003, 2004, which would mean he's born, like he was born in the 40s and stuff. And we do know that time back then was so different. Our son Isaac, which he has a book, he's born in the 60s. So it's like I'm trying to reprogram my brain on what to expect. I feel like I'm saying a whole load of nothing. I just feel like this book, I'm gonna have to dig deep about what I want to say, which is not the best, because I'm very simple-minded. I don't really think outside of the box, to be honest. I always struggled with that in school. We'll see what I pull out of my butt. I feel like I'm gonna struggle with talking about this book, because I feel like I need to open up my mind, really think about things, because I feel like with this kind of book, I can't just say, oh, I loved it. I need to be a lot more specific with my thoughts. I am on page 105. I'm 35% of the way through, is what Storygraph told me last night. I did download the audiobook. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to it. I really prefer reading this with my eyes right now. But what's very interesting is that it's one thing, and I was gonna wait to say this till I finish so I can, you know, say other things. But it's one thing to say, you know, older people today just grew up differently. And it's a whole nother thing to actually focus on one person. Granted, this person is fictional, but it's another thing to focus on a specific person and actually get details of their upbringing and everything that they were taught. But it's just so hard, because, so our main character's name in here is Jacob. Jacob and Isaac. Isaac is Jacob's son. It's like, I don't know whether to like him or not, and I think it's obviously done on purpose. There's this one scene, I'm gonna insert the clip somewhere, that I got to. I'm gonna tell y'all what page it's on. It's on page 38, okay? I'm on 35%. I would say, you know, the first 30%, 28%, we're getting Jacob and his, you know, his life, his early life. Growing up with his grandparents, he had an older brother, and why he is the way he is. Page 38, he is in school, and he already said he didn't go to school that much anyway. And he dropped out again at, like, I think 8th grade, which was probably the norm. Trigger warning, I'm about to detail an assault scene. Him and a group of friends, I don't know if it was 5 of them or 4 of them, they're in school, and I guess it's recess time or whatever, and there's another boy named Elliot. And Elliot, he was kind of described as being very timid, not being manly. They go up to him and they're harassing him. They decide to pull down their pants, and Jacob makes it a point to say, not me, and not his other friend, Bobby Joel, I don't know, that they're gonna make him, Elliot, do the others. But Jacob makes it a point, not me though. And, you know, obviously I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like this person, like he's not a good person. And he goes on to say, let me find it so I can get it right. Bobby Joe is his name. That's his other friend. So yeah, they make Elliot suck them. Jacob and Bobby Joe say the only reason they didn't participate, which I think he still pulled down his pants, but the only reason they didn't go further like the other ones did and make him do that is because they feared their granddaddy's wrath. And I'm thinking in my head, like, y'all are not good people. They hated that Elliot was so gullible and so easily submissive. Now, Bobby Joe and Jacob still participated. They just didn't go that far, but they still hit him, beat him, cursed at him, I'm sure. So they still participated. At the time, Jacob said, I believe those other boys were worse than us, but of course they weren't. And that's that other part to me, that tug of war in my head, because it's like, we'll get these details and, you know, of him just not being a great person. But then on the other hand, I guess because he's older now, he thinks about it and he's like, I'll just quote what he said. All of us destroyed him that day, and we did it happily without shame or remorse. I've told myself over the years that we didn't know any better. We were taught what to think, not how. There is a difference, you know. It never crossed our minds that we were destroying someone's life. Well, I actually skipped the other part, but he does say that they were just as bad. And it's like, yay for you for knowing that, but like, you still participated. But on the other hand, like he just said, it's also how they were brought up. It's like, I don't know. In my head, it's black and white. Like, y'all shouldn't have done it in the first place. I also didn't grow up during that time. I'm privileged enough that when I did grow up, things were a lot different. But yeah, it's just this tug of war in my head where it's like, he's not this great person, but he's also come to realize that as well. Now where I'm at 35%, we are now getting more interactions because he's had his son now, Isaac. I think Isaac right now is probably teens-ish as far as like what he's talking about, like the memories that he's recounting. We started off, you know, when he was born and he was 1, and we just had a situation. I don't know how old he was, maybe 9, maybe 10. We already get the sense, you know, Isaac he doesn't want to hang out with his dad necessarily. He doesn't want to fish, like do boy things. He doesn't want to fish. He doesn't want to play, what was it, baseball, I think they said. And his mom ended up buying him, I guess, for Christmas. Well, both parents bought him for Christmas some kind of toy or toys. They look like dolls. I don't know what that means because I know it wasn't a Barbie. I don't think it was a Barbie, but some kind of doll. And the dad, Jacob, already didn't want to get that because it was on the verge of looking like a doll. Jacob actually caught, I hate to say caught, but saw Isaac kissing the boy doll. And he was mad. And Isaac knew so much that he knew when he was caught, like, he was already making excuses as to what he was doing and saying, you know, he's just doing what his mom normally does. You know, the doll was hurt. So I'm scared to read further. Ooh, too tall. I went and got ashes today. I forgot it was on my head. I did finish Don't Cry For Me. I would give this in between a 4 and a 5 star. I really loved this book. I didn't cry. However, once I got to literally 20 pages left, something was happening on the inside. And I think also around that part, for some reason, I just started imagining I was Isaac and I was reading this. And I don't know, it really made me so emotional on the inside. Definitely lots of growth with Jacob, but it's like, it's too late. You waited so long and it's too late. I just hope that he felt something after writing all of this. And I'm very anxious to read Isaac's letters. I understand this is a fictional story and that Jacob is a fictional character, but it was just so easy to actually imagine this being someone's story. My final book for this video, let me go get it. I'm gonna be reading The Friend Zone Experiment. This is a romance. It's a funny romance about family, class, and love in modern London. I think this is also maybe second chance. So Renee is 30 and beautiful. She runs a glamorous company in London and is dating a hot Taiwanese pop star. Well, she was. He ends up breaking up with her. I do remember that. Everything that I remember about this book is from me including it in the video where I go over new releases for the next month or whatever. She ends up getting a call from her dad because he's retiring. and he's actually considering Renee as his next CEO. And she ends up running into her first love while she's there. I don't know where there is, to be honest. And they do actually spend a night together. And her feelings kind of all come back to her, but he is actually out for revenge on her family. That sounds very messy, and I'm here for it. Here's the thing. I think this book is a lot longer than I think it is. I went to get donuts this morning. I normally always ask for a half a dozen donut holes with chocolate. Obviously, half a dozen is 6. And I like getting it because where I go, they don't actually count 6 donuts. Just like they don't count a dozen. They don't count 12. So if I get 6, they give me anywhere from 12 to 14. And you're probably like, girl, just get 12. First of all, I'm not paying for 12. But if I get 12, they're going to give me 18 to 19. There's no way that's 6 donuts, and there's no way that's 12. That's got to be 24 donut holes in there. What is this? This is a meal. Look, I can't even count, but I'm going to eat one anyway. I'm going to have to save some of this. Yeah. One thing about me, when it comes to chocolate, gotta have water. Good news is I'm on my last book for this video. Bad news is it's not this one. I DNF'd last night. I read 70 pages yesterday. I want to say actually 76. Wasn't interested. Honestly, y'all not gonna know if I DNF books. I don't post about them anymore. Started off good like the first chapter, and then like the second chapter, I wasn't interested. I didn't like the third person POV. I don't mind third person, I just don't think it was working for this book. 2, I didn't like how they ran into each other. This is Second Chance, and I know on the back, I had to reread it like 5 times, but it says Renee bumps into Yapket Seong or Shong, her first love who broke her heart. Now mind you, it's been 10 years. I didn't realize that those 10 years, like 10 years ago when they were together, they weren't in high school. I don't know where I thought I saw that they were high school sweethearts, but they aren't. I want to say they were in their 20s, like maybe college age when they were together. And it's been 10 years. They almost didn't recognize each other. He heard her voice and he was like, oh, like I know that voice from anywhere, and I guess was shocked that they had run into each other in London. Because I think when they got together, they weren't in London, they were somewhere else. I didn't like how they were catching up and stuff, and they do. It's not detailed, so if you still want to read this book and you don't want to read Spice, I can't speak for the rest of the book, but that was just Fade to Black. Or actually, Closed Door, I don't even think it was Fade to Black. Yeah, kind of, because they do kiss or whatever. But I just wasn't feeling it. I have one more book from the library called Untethered that I wasn't planning on putting in a video, so why not this one? Because I also have not read this author before. I've seen this book promoted to me one time. I'm going to be starting this today. I honestly don't feel like reading the synopsis right now. I just kind of want to go in blind. I do have the audiobook, so if I have time to listen, I will. That's kind of why I brought it today. I hope this one turns out better than the other book. I don't want to forget, but I want to update you guys about Untethered. You could say I'm almost done. I have about this much left. Probably about 100 pages. A little more than 100 pages, like 120. I did end up reading the synopsis. It definitely felt like there was a lot going on, but because I'm well over halfway, everything is tying together really well and it's all making sense. It's not too much at the same time. There's kind of a lot going on, so I'm just gonna kind of list everything. So Kasha is running a group home for Black boys. She loves it there. I mean, honestly, that's one of my favorite parts about reading this book, the way that she cares for everyone, specifically 2 boys, Pee-wee and Chad. I absolutely love them so much. Chad is older. I believe he's probably in his teens. Pee-wee, the way he's coming off, he does have a little stutter. He's coming off way younger. Like, I'm talking about maybe 10, like 8 to 10. He's definitely coming off younger. Chad, again, I could see 15, 16 for Chad. Kasha also gets a phone call early on in this book from her mom because she has 2 twin brothers who are in the Vietnam War. They end up getting a letter that they've been lost. They can't find them. So that's something that's going on in here. Another familiar face enters her life. We have Seth. Now Seth was he her first love? No. Seth was a boy that she liked in school. They never dated or anything. She was under the impression that she might not be his type. He dated someone else that apparently just was like the opposite of her. At least that's what I gathered. Y'all know I have the memory of a P. I don't even know if I would say that this has like a sub-genre of romance. Like, let's just say it's like super minimal. It's very, very, very small. I can see that being the outcome though, that romance between them. All in all, that main focus to me seems to be storyline-wise, her and some of the boys from her group home. So really surrounding that group home. And I'm nervous because, again, I'm getting towards the end. And one thing that we do find out in the beginning is that they changed management or ownership of the group home, and it's not someone who is in support of her, so they're trying to get her out. So that is making me so nervous. Y'all, like, I'm so excited to talk about this book. I had gotten to page, I don't know, I'm assuming maybe 180, 170. I'll say 180. Oh my gosh, I was nearly tearing up at my desk. The whole book is just so moving. And I know it's fiction, but this could easily, just like I spoke about Don't Cry for Me, this could easily be someone's story. But I think that's what I like so much about historical fiction, is there's something so moving and so emotional about the ones that I read. Like, my voice is kind of quivering right now because I want to cry. Oh my gosh. What the hell? And just how lucky, I'm talking about a fictional book. But just how lucky I am, as a person, and the way that I grew up, I lucked out, right? You don't choose to be here. Anyway, but yeah, so this, oh my gosh, like I want to cry. I want to cry. Out of the books that I've given 4.75s this year, I don't know how many of them are in videos, but the ones that have been, I know I said, I don't know if I'm going to give it a 5 because low-key I'm thinking in my head, I know when something is going to be a 5-star. I have found my first 5-star of the year. It took, a couple of months. It is March 8th. By the way, my birthday is exactly 3 months away today. I could have finished it last night, which means that I could have read it all in one day. It was that good. I fell asleep last night. So I finished the last 70 pages or so this morning. Y'all, I started doubting my rating. Those 70 pages that I had, I don't know if it's because where I stopped yesterday, something major happened. Very sad. I didn't see it coming and I started tearing up when I read it and I just kind of paused. Maybe I shouldn't have paused where I did because when I picked back up where I was this morning, I feel like I was kind of out of it because of where I stopped at, but I'm not going to let that affect my rating. And I know that something isn't going to be a perfect 5-star, you know what I mean? It is historical fiction. The author says it at the end. This takes place 1967, 1968. A good portion of it taking place in 1967. I don't know where we get to in 68 in here. I'm assuming maybe the epilogue. Oh, now that I mentioned the epilogue, that's another part where I was kind of like, do I want to give it that 4.75? Just because the epilogue, I believe without spoiling too much, I think it takes place 3 months later. It could be a little more than 3 months ago. I'm not going to mention why. I'll say maybe 5 months later when the epilogue takes place. It was almost too much going on in that epilogue. Mind you, the epilogue's like 3 or 4 pages. I know I mentioned at the beginning that there's a lot going on in this book. We have her as a director of this group home. We have her relationship specifically with 2 boys, Pee-wee and Chad. She has this maybe romance going on with Seth, someone who she used to like. But then there's also, I never mentioned it, but at the beginning of the book, we also find out that she has an on and off again boyfriend, Leon. Y'all, I'm not even gonna say what happened with that relationship, but I was listening to it at the time and I did this. What? I'm missing something. Oh, of course, her 2 brothers, her twin brothers that are fighting in the Vietnam War, that are lost, so that's like 5 different things that I've mentioned. And it's wrapped up. I did not think it was going to wrap up super happily, but it all wraps up, especially in that epilogue. And there's one thing, I can't say what it is, but there's one thing out of these 5 things that I mentioned that does wrap up. And I think that part is kind of why I was like, should I give it a 4.75? But you know what? I loved this book so much. The first clip that I mentioned that I'm about to start this, I sat and read, and I think I was only able to read to like page 4. before my alarm went off to go to work. And when I tell you, I was upset. Just within those 4 pages, I was hooked. The emotion was there. I hope I did not forget anything that I wanted to mention. And if not, y'all can always go on my story graph if you really want to know all my thoughts. It gives me a month to get all my reviews in. So like right now or in March, I need to go back and do February's reviews. January's are all done. Any book that I read in January has a review on Storygraph. And I just hate that I'm probably going to forget parts of this book. And that's gonna kill me inside. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you reached the end of this video, comment down below a purple heart or a purple emoji, like a purple flower, because Untethered is purple. Yeah, and I have on a purple shirt. My book. And y'all, I have to return this to the library. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. Oh wait a minute. I bookmarked something. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was ending the vlog and then I forgot I bookmarked a page. Before I end this video, I'm just gonna read this quote because I bookmarked it for a reason. They can't get rid of you. You've turned this group home into a sanctuary for these boys. Ah! Yeah, now that's it for today's video. I'll see you next week.